up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Study Hall here on UFSU University. My name's Tam, and I'm joined by
Michael. I am Jeff.
What Study Hall is for the unenrolled. We've taken a bunch of your guys' UFS topics, as well as some of our own. We sit down and we discuss them for your amusement, entertainment, and knowledge. As my loyal viewers, as the student body might know, I'm sitting in the wrong spot. Normally I'm sitting in the middle having a conversation, but today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, as opposed to 4 topics broken out day by day, which you can only find on youtube.com/UFS University. What we're going to do is we're actually just going to do a long-form podcast, and we might break it out, we might not. Tyler hasn't decided who's our editor. He hasn't decided what to do yet. So the point of this is you're fairly new.
Yeah, like 2.5 months.
You're very new. You're just jumping into the game. And there are plenty of people with the announcement of Yugioh show who are going to be jumping in. And so the thing that I want to talk about is, as a new player, what questions do you have? As an experienced player, what can I answer? And then vice versa, what advice does a veteran player have to a new player getting into the game? Both when you have a set up a support system such as UFSU, or not, if you're just a Yugioh show fanboy and you're just like, I want to make a play group. How do I make it in Kentucky? Are there any UFS players in Kentucky? Let me know in the comments down below. So, first and foremost, we did play locals this past week. What did you play? How did you do?
Well, I played Evil, Torn Loose, one dot, obviously.
New 7th class character.
Yeah. It was fine. I got steamrolled by Scorpion.
What's cheeky about your deck?
Why
change the deck?
I wanted to try a different symbol because I wanted to see how bad I wanted Revoke in my deck. And then I wanted to try the Allurophobia Call the Dreamlands. I was splashing that. That was neat. And then I also really wanted to play Syndicate Slice because I just used my hero power. Alright, this is a 4 high for 8 with
3 high.
Well, first the foundation I was playing to give it a speed.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like a 3 high for 8. If you block it, I draw a card, and my deck benefits from drawing a lot of cards. So
and it ignores progressive asterisks. Ignores progressive for the next one. So that means whenever you do add in the character card, if you can't instantly get rid of it, your fog blankets are still on 6s.
Yeah.
Or still on 5s, excuse me, because of the +1.
I wanted to know what it felt like to have the perfect foundation base.
Yeah.
Right, because Evil's got everything, and then I also got to try this really cool interaction between Confronting Jeddah and Bargeist Fang.
Yes.
So you can have a 8 speed, 13 damage throw, gauge 3 that can't be blocked by character cards.
Jeff, what Confronting Jeddah says is this attack gets plus or minus damage equal to the difference in its current speed and its starting speed. So if you can give something +3 speed, you can give it +3 damage. Or conversely, if your opponent gives it +5 speed, you can go, well, I'll give that -5 damage. It's really cool on multiples because multiples printed speed is 0. So they always have greater than printed. So on every multiple, or once per turn on a multiple, you can be like, hey, that has -5 speed, Coffee Samba's multiple. Dummy.
Dummy.
Or -5 damage, sorry, not speed. It has +5 speed.
Yeah, the deck was pretty consistent. Outside of the damage department, but that's just because of the kind of deck I was playing. And then I threw in Zuna drops, and I was just kind of bricking no blocks. So that's why I switched back to air now.
Okay.
But it was fun. I definitely enjoyed it.
Taught you something?
Call the Dreamlands. That card's really rad.
Yeah. I want to talk about, just real fast before we get to you, Jeff. Talk about how Torn Loose works. We got a ruling from Ryan Pham, and I think it's pertinent to let people know it's right at the top. Be positive, be positive.
Okay, guys, so what Torn Loose 1 dot says is that you can put a character card as a cost into your card pool, and then you can give your attack, specifically your attack, which is really nice because you can use it on your opponent's turn, give your attack 4 damage. And then his 2 dot says, enhance, give your opponent -1 to their next check to play a card for each character card in your card pool. So normally, what I was doing was I'd put a character card in, I'd give them -1 to their next check, and then I'd remove it from play with Evil. I had to draw a card. So I get 4 damage, I get -1 to their next check, and I get to draw a card without actually playing anything.
Yeah.
So it's really good. But now there's a new ruling out where
not a new ruling, but we understand the ruling differently.
Yeah, to where it waits until your opponent plays a card, and then it checks your card pool. to see how many character cards are in your card.
Because of what Tornaloose says, is he says it gets -1 for each in your card pool, and you're not making the check until then.
Yeah.
Right. If it said it gets -1 for each character card currently in your card pool, it would trigger right away. But since it's it hasn't wanted the condition hasn't been met quite yet, it has to wait. So a little bit of a nerf. I had the same issue happen with me at Nationals. At Nationals with Stolen Sword, I was fighting Ben Shoemaker in round 2. I am playing Nightman, like one of the worst characters in the game, because they banned the character I was playing like a month before, and I had no idea how to do it. I was too new to like pick something else up. Somebody had made that deck for me, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, that's Athena, let's do it." Basically, what Kevin Roper and whatnot does. Yes.
Okay.
But I was like, sick order weapon deck, awesome. Before weapons were good, I'd be like, I'd reveal this Stolen Sword, play Stolen Sword, commit your foundation, move my Stolen Sword, and then Ben Shoemaker was just like, no, that doesn't work. Because Stolen Sword says the next time you play a weapon foundation, add it down. Well, if you play a card as a block, it's not a foundation, it's a block. If it said the next time you play a foundation card, it would count. But it says the next time you play a foundation. I didn't play foundation, I played block. And so it just stuck in my card pool, and I was like, oh, that's the whole fucking point of my deck. it's just like to do this one cheeky interaction to like stick a card in your card pool. Yeah. Real bad. I was at that tournament. I ended up going to the bottom table twice. Last table, 1-1, lost 1. Back to the last table. It sucked. Yeah, real rad. Jeff, how's your? This is your first local with your own deck. You played Scorpion 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. Yeah. How was Goro Under Earth?
It's pretty awesome. It taught me a lot about how, like, so I would build like everything I could, play everything I could. I had my turn with no cards in my hand.
Yeah.
Almost like 90% of the time.
100%.
Sometimes I'd have one of the assets in play that you can use as a block, but most of the time they weren't there.
Yeah.
So I would just try and like man mode through 40 damage.
Just phase tank.
And then on the next turn I'd pick up 4 attacks from my discard pile and try and win.
Just swing them. Just swing them. So the podcast has never seen you. This is your debut on UFSU.
Welcome.
Yeah, what up? Give us a little bit of your history. I played Scorpion. I did fine. Give me a little bit of your history.
I come from. I played a lot of Yugioh and had pretty good success at that. And then, so that's my card game knowledge. And that's about it. Yeah.
You got a little bit into Dragon Ball Super as well, yeah?
Yeah.
You play Hearthstone a bunch.
Yeah.
It's like you're no slouch when it comes to card games, mechanics, and learning that.
Mm-hmm.
Just to reiterate, just to go, this is going to be like a big conversational podcast, so there's no like big overarching question. It's just going to be truly a conversation for. I've got a timer. My goal is to try and hit this for like an hour, and just talking to you guys. So, how do you like UFS so far? Like both of you, as somebody who's played for a month, been to a major, been to a PTC, and somebody who has played 2 locals. How's UFS in comparison to other card games?
It's very unique in the sense of every time you play a card, you lose a card.
Yeah.
And every single time you're playing a card, you're getting one step closer to like decking out. And like in certain games, like that's not really like a factor, like a true like factor. But
How many times have you decked out?
How many times have I decked out?
Yeah.
I've decked out probably like 3 or 4 times. They've all been with Lord Raptor.
Okay.
But
you remove your cards as cost.
That's
kind of a scary
Expected.
thing with fire, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna learn that when we make this deck tonight. Give me the positive, give me the negatives. Like Ryan Pham's gonna watch this episode, and I really hope it like.
Okay.
Give me some positive, give me some negatives.
So something that I like about UFS is how like I don't know, like how homey and like the community feels.
So good.
And like everyone's like cool with each other, right?
Yeah.
But like at Yugioh, there's like literally thousands of players that like show up to tournaments, and like there's people that just like hate each other's guts like crazy. And then you get those people that are like super snarky and stuff like that. But like a lot of the people I've played against and the few people I have met are like relatively nice people.
Not saying that we don't have our beefs, but like everybody's like real chill about it.
Yeah.
Like there's no nobody's trying to like steal shit from each other, or nobody's trying to.
Right. Like I don't have to like clench my backpack and have my hands in my pocket every time I'm going to like a UFS tournament. Like like for a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, like I
so like
do
bag
watch my
checks and shit.
backpack.
Like, hey, where'd you get this deck? Like, that definitely see people get stopped.
Yeah.
Entering leaving venues.
I like the card art like for this game a lot.
Yeah.
Just like seeing like different characters like beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. That one's like kind of but I like how different like the game operates, like in the sense of like the keywords and then like momentum.
Yeah, we're certainly going to get into that
Yeah.
in this podcast. That's something I really want to get to. Jeff, do you have anything to add? Like, what do you like? What do you not like? Like you're like you're barely a month in, right? If you can.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. These viewpoints might be a little wrong, or like.
If you're having them and you're being vocal, then they're having and not being vocal, right?
Right. So the only thing I can kind of see is that like, so a big problem for me with Yu-Gi-Oh, kind of was that like the power creep.
Yeah.
Was insane.
Yeah.
I can tell there's like a little bit of a power creep in UFS, but not like nearly as much.
It's not overwhelming.
So it's really interesting because like you're at the not the end of the roller coaster ride, but you're certainly not at the apex. We went from nationals 2 years ago, and we were given platinum as like prize support. It was one of the coolest things they'd done. So they announced that they were doing this big reprint set because Warriors of the Night, everything that's in the like Jeddah Dimitri 1.1 set with Felicia and Jade Talbane and all of that, totally out of print, completely. You can't fucking find it all. It doesn't exist. There was still Rise of the Masters on the shelf, but not Warriors of the Night. So like the Mega Man 1 set, not the 10s, but the 1 set with like Quickman and Mega Man 2 and Gemini Man. So like that was on the shelf and totally playable. He was banned by the week that I came in. Him and Skullman got banned. I was gonna play Skullman as the first character, but got rid of him quick. You just couldn't find it, and so and the market was so low that skull berries were like $60. Yeah, and James and Tyler, who were like my main resource when it came to like old school cards, the cards just didn't exist. I think they had a total of 2 skull berries, like in the whole collection. And then you went back even further, and because of here's a little bit of a history lesson, and I don't have the exact numbers because I'm not a dork like James, but there was a while where like for like at least 2 years they didn't print any sets because there was a mix up in Jasco headquarters and like somebody got fired. I don't know names or anything, but like they just like Jason, the head of Jasco, which fun fact for all my new kids, if you want on every back of a UFS pack wrapper, there is a phone number. That is Jason's personal cell phone. You can call Jason, the owner of Jason Company Jasco, and converse with him or whatever. You can also add him on Facebook. He sees a bunch of stuff. He sometimes watches our videos. Recently got a message from him like, "Hey, good content." Oh, thanks, Dad. Hey.
Was it last week that's name?
No, but we've gotten a bunch of comments on the one from last week.
Ooh.
Not the PTC one, but the one before where we had the 5 people. They loved it.
Oh,
yes. Yeah, they
actually really like
blew
that.
up. You should look at the comments. They're really rad. But so we didn't have anything. In addition to that, because we have 10 sets in the game, and like 3 of the sets didn't exist. They were not physical packs. You couldn't order them online. You couldn't get them. And singles were like nowhere to be found. There was a common card called Caught Red-Handed, which is just venomous, but it flips instead, and it's got a 3 high block, not playable or committed. Yeah, that card just didn't exist. You just couldn't find it. The only reason I got to play that card is because I knew James and Tyler. But there was such a struggle for new players to get in because of lack of product. Like, if you wanted to play Athena, you would have to shell out $40 for a character card because they used to make some characters ultra rares.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like you guys have come in at the perfect time for UFS, honestly. And so you've got this this issue with what the fuck am I saying? You've got this issue with like product not existing until you get all the way up to platinum, and then we see the Dimitri reprint, the Whittle reprint, you see Woodman's Leaf Shield and you go, what the fuck? Woodman. Woodman at one point was like top 5 character in the game. And you're just like, this character's insane. He gets to block forever. He builds one down for free and gets to lift it. What if that was attack and I gotta kill you later? How does lift the attack? Holy shit, this is nuts. Attack for +3 damage? That's crazy. Commit for my kids. Commit for +3 damage? That's nuts. And we were like living in this like pre-Bebop world where like Steel Res was not a fair card.
Actually, I still don't think Steel Res is fair.
I would like you to compare Steel Res and Missile Launcher right now and tell me, or Steel Res and Coffee Samba, and tell me which is the fair card or not, okay?
You got Coffee Samba.
Right, and you've got
and then
Steel Res.
We got Steel Res.
Right.
I
Like
mean,
Steel Res is fine. You're like, oh man, you okay, you got me. You drew 3, whatever. But like before, it was just like, God fucking damn it, you played 5 attacks in your turn. This is insane.
Yeah.
And that's just like that was the thing that just didn't happen. Like if you played 5 attacks, we were both in deadlock for sure. For sure. Or you were playing something that discarded cards from your card pool, like the air symbol, like Proto Man. Proto Man was played stuff that did that. And then you got over this hill of Bebop, and there was 9 characters in that set, 8 characters. And diversity was a bloodbath because every character in Bebop is better than everything else. You have 9 characters in a game that says in top 16 you have to have 16 diverse characters, and every Bebop character except for 1 I think got in. I think it was like Ed 9. It was like the only character that just didn't get it because Ed 9 is a little pigeon-held when it comes to their support. But like Ed 9's still nutty, and every card inside of Ed 9's kit is better than every card that was printed before. And so like there was the Bebop meta. So the team asset that UFSU won with Chris Nixon, Dylan Bauman, and Richard Sobota, I think I'm saying his name right. Sobota. Their team name, their team comp was Spike 1, Spike 2 Vicious. And their team name was Welcome to Bebop. And they went and they swept the whole tournament. And the people that they fought were 3 Bebop characters. It was like Spike, 2, Jet, and Faye or some shit. Like it was 3 Bebop characters. That event we had James run a Dimitri 2-dot deck, and it was really cool and really rad, and every time he fought a Bebop character, he lost. And so it was me playing Faye and Tyler playing Spike 2 that were trying to carry the team. And it just, you either played Bebop or you lost. And it was insane. Mad Perot was like arguably the best character in the game at the time, because punch and duties were not fair. Jet, like there just weren't answers. And so you guys are a couple of sets past. Every character that is right now, like you've got your stinkers like Morrigan and Chun-Li and Aaron Black. Like they have to work for the wins. Not saying it's not possible.
Yeah.
But like you look at Aaron Black, and then you turn around and you look at DJ from the Street Fighter set, or you look at T-Hawk. You know what T-Hawk does?
I think I remember.
T-Hawk says something along the lines of like, if this thing's blocked, you, like he's so bad I don't remember. I'll get it pulled up. But like, you guys exist in a format where like there are actual characters. Like,
Yeah.
You actually get to play shit.
And that's all thanks to Bebop, to be honest.
Yeah, and so you said power creep and that's where this came from. There was a huge spike in power creep. Like, we're all on the same line, we're all mortals, and then Bebop was up here. And then everything else has stayed relatively in this line. And I think the first time we didn't get something exactly as adequate is in Street Fighter vs. Darkstalkers. I think that set took the bar and brought it down just a smidge. But only because you can't really share those cards with past decks.
Yeah.
They're so, but perfect for a new player. We're about to make Yukin 2-dot. We're going to make that deck by throwing pretty much 4 of all that shit in your deck. And then we've got 16 extra cards we get to play. There's your deck. Like you look at Lord Raptor.
Yeah.
That's the format.
Yeah.
And you can do that with every single one of the Street Fighter Star Trek characters. So like, the line is like so even, so narrow, and there's a little bit of up and down, but like, 7th Cross almost feels that same way too. Like 7th Cross really wants to play 7th Cross shit, and not a lot wants to play 7th Cross shit.
Yeah.
There's some cheeky stuff. Like you look at Ken Broberg's Spike 1 deck,
Daggers.
gauging into Spike 2. Never happened before. Nope, they're 2 separate entities. until 7th cross. So yeah, so power creep. I just talked for I think 10 minutes straight. What else are you liking, not liking about the game? Do you like? You have not had a set release proper, right?
Right.
And so you can tell the difference between old cards and new cards, sure. But like, is there anything else? Is there a card or mechanic or something that you don't like? And not just like personal preference of like playing on your own turn, but like this is not a fair mechanic.
I don't think so.
In my opinion,
Mhm.
I'm still frustrated at desperation.
Okay, that's fair.
I just think it's like it's just like desperation characters are tied to like paying life, and it's so easy for them to like get down to desperation. Because how I envisioned desperation was like the first Dragon Ball Super set, right?
Yeah.
Where like only Vegeta could hurt himself, and like no one else
Yeah.
could hurt himself, and so like your opponent had to poke you a little bit.
Yeah.
But like I could not poke you for 2 turns, and then all of a sudden you're at 13 life with Scorpion, and I'm now dead.
Well, sure. So, but the other side of that is if I'm not playing Coffee Samba, which might be the issue here. If I'm not playing Coffee Samba, which stuns out your whole board, you just spent those 2 turns building up a wall that
Yeah.
now I'm at half health. I have to get through. Coffee Samba's the wall breaker. Coffee
Yeah.
Samba's the not fair card about the desperation deck. But like
Yeah.
being able to sling a bunch of cheap attacks is fine if you've got the resources needed to block them. Like, could you imagine like Scorpion versus Donovan?
That does not sound fun.
It doesn't sound fun for the Scorpion player.
No.
I have to pay 2 every time that you block, you burn 2. All my attacks do what, 2 damage?
Yeah. That's,
Maybe if the half block and it does what, 6? I mean, you still got like what, 29 life?
yeah.
How many 6 damage attacks do I have to throw? And I'm at 13. If I don't get the job done, I burn myself down to 4. You touch me once and I die.
Yeah. Get
Like,
out of the backswing.
It's like a mini game inside of the game of like I have to do as much damage to me as possible. The thing is like, and not to toot my own horn, but I'm a damn good Scorpion player because
Oh yeah, I'm not saying you aren't.
I make you do the work. I make you hit me, which means you're wasting resources, putting me to that proper number, and then it's just like when you try and poke in DVS and you accidentally poke too far.
Yeah.
Like, oh, whoops. Well, now he's awakened. Well, I have to now deal with this because he's just gonna dumpster me on the next turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Scorpion is a Dragon Ball Super character. So here's T-Hawk. You ready? He's a 5-hand size, 35 life. He says, R, commit 1 foundation. After your slam or throw attack is blocked, your opponent discards 1 card. Your opponent may flip 2 foundations to cancel this effect. E, commit, so you commit himself. Your next slam or throw attack ignores progressive difficulty. So as a 5-hander, he commits his own board to make you possibly discard cards or flip foundations to cancel.
Interesting.
Even if we, as the other person, we only build 3 foundations, that's you commit 1 to make me flip 2. Who cares? he's real bad.
Yeah.
And then like, you've got Torna Loose. It's just like, I hit you with this thing, I add this thing in, flip it, add this, flip it, add this, flip it. Just
Yeah.
like, flip the whole thing.
I love. Oh my god, that's what I love flipping with Torn.
Or like a Vicious. Vicious compared to
Oh,
him.
God.
Vicious is at 31 health and a 6-hander that draws cards, and T-Hawk's a 5-hander with 35. 4 more health to commit to me.
That's the power creep right there.
Yeah, honestly, health is a big
Look
one.
at T-Hawk and then look at Vicious.
There
That's how
was-
you can tell.
There was a fucking uproar when it came to Spike 1-Dot with his 24 health on a 7-hander.
Yeah, I still think that's pretty good.
It's super high.
Yeah.
But Spike, at this point, when he first came out, he was the Everman deck. There was stuff in the format to like make him like Death Wall Spike was abysmal to play against because he just played honest UFS better than everybody else. But now that there's like I'd rather play Scorpion than I would play Spike, or I'd rather play Grow than Spike, or I'd rather play all these other death characters. Spike just plays a really honest game of UFOs, and he needs the 24 because minus 1 on every attack. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Right, so like all these like stats that like you're talking like 24 health being insane. Like that's still, I still think that's like, as far as power creep goes,
Yeah.
it's still like 10 times better than the power creep that came out of Yugioh.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like
Yeah.
like so the first like I would say power creep were synchros, right?
Probably Cyber Dragon.
Cyber Dragon.
Cyber Dragon.
Yeah.
Okay, but then
Anything that makes you not want to go first. There's your power creep.
and then
I want
there's
that roll.
synchros.
You're going.
Synchros, and then they just keep introducing new colored cards, and I'm like, at least UFS hasn't done that. Like, what's the newest type of card asset?
So we do that. No. We don't do it with cards. We do it with keywords.
Oh, okay.
We have the effects on the keywords, and that's how we keep increasing the game. And so, like, not even just Gauge. There was Fury is the most recent, or Tech. Fury and Tech are the most recent non-ability keywords. And so, what that says is kind of like introducing Weiram with dragons, because dragons get so crazy and big that like they're like,
divide 'em.
we need to divide these. And so now, what is a Fury attack? You just extra mad? Well, they look mad. We'll just throw Fury on. Like, look, Nutcracker. Nutcracker has 5 keywords on it. It's got Breaker, EX, Punch, Slam, Charge, I think. It might have Charge, I don't remember.
Sounds right.
But yeah.
Nutcracker definitely deserves Breaker.
Yeah. No, it should have Breaker. I'm super down for EX. She's using her powers to go fast. I'm super down for Punch. Why is it a Slam?
Like,
Oh.
Sam,
Why-
like
You missed
crown?
my joke, Ben.
Like breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, I
okay,
got it.
okay,
But like
okay,
when you
okay.
look at the picture, she's not like shoulder charging anybody.
Right.
Like, why is it a Slam?
I don't know.
Or like there's
Good
just
question.
there's
It
this.
doesn't need to be a slam. I
Right.
can tell you that.
That's what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
like because it has Slam on it, because it's got all these keywords, it now interacts with all these other cards. It has this plethora. There's a card called Transform.
Yeah.
That says you can pick up a Nutcracker from your discard pile, and when you play it, Transform builds down as a foundation. That sounds rad. That card should not be able to pick up Nutcracker. Should not.
Yeah. You get a card that fetches a card that fetches a card that draws a card.
Welcome to the all symbol, baby. How do you feel about symbols? How do you guys feel about like so Magic has their symbols, Yu-Gi-Oh does not do that at all. They've got archetypes, but like that's like Super Dark Suckers type stuff. How do you feel about symbols?
I think evil's really good.
I meant like the concept of symbols, not like
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I like that there's 12 symbols and each character has 3 minimum variant of decks. And I like that, like, I can't just take 4 coffee sambas and throw them, like, in an air deck.
Yeah.
Like, and I really like that about this game, that there's, like, more creativity, or you are enabled more to be creative because you are limited by a symbol.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
100%.
And then if you're man mode, like dual symboling, oh,
Yeah.
I still want to try a little bit. I'm like slightly playing it because I'm playing the revokes
Mhm.
because I can play a revoke on all but like 6 of my attacks.
Yeah.
So
That's normally how. Do you have any comments on symboling?
Not really. I mean, it makes sense to me.
So like that's like the thing about dual symboling is like normally it's based on actions or things that clear from the card pool because of the way that symbol chaining works, and we'll get into a little bit. The way that symbol chaining works is your starting character has these 3 symbols, and so it's the first card in your card pool. And so whenever you add a card into your card pool, it has to match at least one of the symbols. If it matches 2 of the symbols, sure, you're chaining on both of them. So I mean, you can play either card as your next card. So if I've got all air evil, as an example, what is all air evil? Gyroman. If you have air all evil, and you lay down an air all card, you cannot play only evil card afterwards. If it's got evil, death, chaos, you can't play that card because it does not share the 2 as we continue. But like revoke removes itself, bang removes itself, Let's Cut Loose removes itself. So you can like play all these cards that have this remove cost and then be like, well now my card pool is back clear.
I'll block.
I'll block. Yeah. They actually were thinking about taking away, you couldn't, not off symbol, but completely off symbol cards. Like Balance Fighter. Balance Fighter said after this card is discarded, draw a card.
I think that would be fine.
Could you imagine? So there's a Ben Shoemaker, actually his second champ card, the Painmaker, that's what I called him. He was a traditional flash deck that he said, response, destroy a foundation. This attack is 1 speed and 2 damage. Response, after an attack deals damage, discard a card, draw a card. He had like
Oh, so he just plays 4 balance fighters to
Yeah.
draw 2.
doesn't have a Balance Fighter symbol.
Huh.
Yeah, so you'd be like, oh, I poke you with this, I'll discard this, draw 2. Ooh, I'm an 8-hander now, hey.
Hey.
I play that deck as a throw deck because it always dealt damage. Poke you, fix my hand. Poke you, fix my hand. That's red. That's super red.
There's actually a random action I was looking at to like draw extra cards.
Yeah.
It's the like scroll from Darkstalkers.
The scroll from Darkstalkers.
It's called like transmutation or something like that. It's when you
Review it?
Yeah, when you review it, draw 2.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, and you can only play an attack card or.
So here's how
you can't
cool,
play non-attack cards.
correct. Here's how cool UFS is. I made a all-attack Metal Man deck. Metal Man said that if your attack deals damage at the end of the turn, it builds down as a foundation. So as my 6-hander, I would review Sacrifice, draw my extra cards, and go attack, 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 attack. Didn't even hit you? Alright, I'll build them all down as foundations. And then he said, discard a card, pick up a card. Pick up a face-down foundation. So you'd be like, oh, I've got 3 in hand, and this is my perfect block, I'll discard 3 in hand at the back of my hand. Or, I have 1 attack, I'll discard this foundation, pick up this attack from my staging area that hit you last turn. Play it again. Did it hit you? Alright, next turn I'll add it back down. Some really, really cool shit that you can do in this game.
And then I like its other effect randomly.
After it's discarded, your opponent discards a card.
After your opponent discards it. With
Oh,
their
yeah,
card
yeah,
effect,
they
can
can't.
they can only play attack cards.
Yeah, that's really cool. You better fucking kill me.
Yeah.
Like you're playing against like
Ah.
you're playing against like a Void Akuma.
Yeah.
Or even Reptile.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed neat. But I digress.
So yeah, when it comes to deck building, and you've experienced this,
Yeah.
there's so much that you can do, and you'll get there eventually. But we gotta get the training wheels on. Is there anything that you guys feel like you haven't been prepared for? Is there anything that you feel like you haven't? This is such a loaded question. Is there anything you haven't learned? Obviously, you don't know what you don't know, but
like outside of like Ultra.
UFS Ultra, all new kids, jump on there. UFSUltra.com. It's sponsored by Rochester. It's a bunch of dudes from France, creating a bunch of French dudes. Take their own time. Do it. You can donate to their PayPal.
But
Give the plug.
yeah. So like besides Ultra, like I feel like it's really hard for me to build a deck that I haven't seen. Right,
Okay.
so I've seen Evil Against You, so like I know I should be playing Debt to be Paid, Confronting Jeddah, like stuff like cards like that along the lines for like an Evil list. And
Okay.
like I copied Dave Wagner's Air build, and like I've looked at a lot of Air foundations thanks to UFS Ultra. So like I know what to do for Air, but if like I wanted to walk over there right now and build a Chaos deck, like I'd have no idea where to start.
Yeah, me neither. Chaos sucks. How about you, Jeff? Is there anything that you haven't, or that hasn't been explained well, or you have this question? It's just like,
I'm still getting like used to the like give and take. Like, so for example, like I said, I played the Goro and I just went like full tilt, like blam, like everything is an attack.
not a bad way to play Goro.
Right. So, but
Kill.
traditionally with other characters, I mean, I think this Kenneth is going to be still like way aggressive.
Ken?
But I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But like it's still going to be like dialed back from Goro probably a little bit.
We're actually we're taking your car and we're giving it nitro.
Oh,
You're gonna
yeah.
stop.
Okay.
You're gonna stop playing
Nice.
cards because you've committed yourself out, not because you've run out of cards in hand.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
And-
other than
and
that,
either
I mean, like
they're gonna die, or you're gonna die.
right.
So one of the two.
Well, perfect.
I dig it.
So,
Yeah. We're fucking going.
So
in.
other than that, like I think more of like a bunch of characters are, you know, you just have to wait for the right time to like push and
Yeah.
and I
learning
having
the cadence of the game.
Yeah,
I
that's-
love it.
yeah.
I love it. So there's this project that I'm working on right now, and you can actually check this out on Discord. I asked one of the mods to make it a topic. I want to say it's called Demo Theory as one of the sidebars. I want to make goats in UFS. I want to make a goat deck. It's not going to be symbol chaining. It's not going to be whatever. It's going to be the concept is if I were going to teach somebody how to play Yu-Gi-Oh, I'd sit down and give them a goat deck and let's play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
It's not about the combos. It's about my numbers are bigger than yours, and every one of my cards has an answer to every one of your cards. And we're going to play the exact same deck, and whoever draws better and plays better wins. We're going to play Ryu 1 Dot, and I have got, it's a turbo deck, so it's 40 cards, singular attacks, it's got all like it's got 3 high attacks, 3 low attacks, and then the rest are all mids. And each one of my it has a low block, a mid block, a high block in all of the low attacks. It's got a low block, a mid block, a high block in all of the high attacks. And for the mid blocks, it's got a low block, a mid block, a high block, and like 2 more mid blocks. And there are bombs, there are pokes, there are all of this, and it's all relevant to things that like Ryu wants to do. But it's not like, hey, stun out your whole fucking board. It's like, it's playing Caltrops, where if I have more momentum, I get more to my stun. But it already has stun 1. It is Sagaki offering, which says if you block, here's a small trap from my hand to kick out your card and go. It has represented every single keyword at least once, except for Deadlock. And every card is an answer to every card. The point of that, and I'm going to start doing this after you, is I want to have 2 of these decks built so that you don't learn to play a character or a symbol. I think one of the biggest issues with you as a player, and it's by demo design, you're an air player. You've exclusively played air for all of this. You learned to play the game with Lord Raptor, and so it helped you get a kickstart, but it did not help you learn to play UFS. It helped you learn to play Air Raptor. For the same reason that when Kevin comes over here and he comes and he plays UFS, he goes, where's Akuma? Because that's the deck he learned to play UFS on. And so he's only going to want to play Akuma. I'm gonna give him a Chaos deck, and he's going to go, well, I don't know how to do anything. I can't see any lines. I don't understand how any of this deck works. That's because Chaos sucks, and nobody knows how Chaos works. But like, I'm trying to make GOAT format inside of UFS, where everything has an answer to everything, and it depends on when and how you draw it and how you play it. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the Discord. I would love to have a conversation with you.
I mean, that sounds perfect to me. Like, to be honest, like, I know another like big scary thing for me was like foundations. Just the multitude.
There's so many
of foundations, and then almost all of them do more than one thing.
Yeah, totally.
So like you probably have almost every foundation in your deck like memorized.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I'm sitting over here and I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I have to pass here. I don't.
I could stare at my staging area for 3 minutes reading all my cards, or pass and not be an asshole. I'll pass. I feel the same way.
I was there.
I feel the same way trying to jump back into Yugioh. Like, somebody handed me a Thunder Dragon deck, and I was like, is this right? Hold on, I have to read this thesis of text.
Right.
Like somebody got their master at designing these cards because of how much time they put just typing. But it's the same thing, but on like a different level, as opposed to a bunch of text on a singular text box. It's a bunch of little text on a bunch of text box. And so like it's the same thing. I think what'll help with that, honestly, is just organizing your staging area by what it does. Like, what's the job of the card? And like, when you're either making a deck or given a deck, when you finally have a list built, either go through with the person that crafted it and you're going to pilot it, whoever makes the deck, sit down and be like, what's the job of all these cards? Do you remember back whenever I played, sorry, this is such a Yu-Gi-Oh heavy podcast, when I played Mermails?
Yeah.
When I had that theory about gas and engine, the Mermail cards were the engine and the Atlantean cards were the gas. If you had Atlantean cards and no Mermail cards, the deck didn't work.
Yeah, you were just like, summon a dude, these can attack directly, I'll pass.
Yeah, and if you had Mermail cards and no Atlantean cards, yeah, you could get somewhere, but you didn't have any gas to do anything.
Yeah, you don't get any advantage.
So, being able to lay out and be like, these are the cards that do this, and these are the cards that do this, and this is why this is here, and this is why this is here, why is this a 2, why is this a 3, why is this even in the deck? Because I like a bit sphere, duh. And being like, hey, why is this a 2 of and not a 3 of? Why? Oh, because it has a unique keyword, and we want to see it because of how it interacts with our character, but if we didn't see it, we'd still probably win the game. So that's why this unique card's a 1 of. Or, hey, this is a 1/6 with a 3 high block, why are we not playing 4 of it? It readies itself. Oh, just because of space. We have so many high blocks already, we don't need it. And so like having that, like what's the job of all your cards? And then when you get your staging area, I'm notoriously bad at this. I build my staging area down as opposed to putting it in its proper spot of like what it does. And then when I commit cards, and I ready them back, I ready them how I committed them. And so it's just like, oh, I've got a big hodgepodge of cards. That does two things in like a competitive sense. If everything's laid out, it means your opponent knows everything. If it's a big hodgepodge, they actually have to pay attention to the game, which is why you kept getting fucked up with Killick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I also forgot that what My Beautiful Child was.
Yeah. So like, My Beautiful Child was not in a very specific spot. Like, oh, it's possible that you missed the fact that I had a High Seas adventure because my staging area is a little jumbled. Because it's not in direct order. But if I have 3 High Seas adventures all sitting next to each other and there's a big gap and here's all my speed pump and here's a big gap and here's all my damage pump, and you're just like, oh, that's all the speed pump you have. There it is, right there.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, and then another like good example of this is me and Sam were playing a friendly, and
I love the term friendly.
and he was playing the Scorpion, and he put I don't remember which foundation did it. He put a card on top of his deck, and I had a foundation that shuffled his deck, but I didn't realize exactly what it did. So I passed, and then he drew the card.
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
That's just experience.
That's
And
just one example.
honestly, that's a perfect example of the difficulties of not having a play group. So we were like playing a game, right? Like it was a friendly, but we weren't in like coaching mode. We were just playing. So in coaching mode, I think the best thing to do is to sit down and with your opponent be like, what are my options? What could I do? And then your opponent looks at your board and go, here's everything that I think you can do. I think you could minus speed if you want to block. You could shuffle my deck, shuffle the momentum, or shuffle a card from my discard pile. That would make me shuffle my deck if you don't want me to draw this card. And then like give them every option, and so that you can make the best decision. Like you can make whatever decision you think so. And that's a playgroup thing. Yeah. Speaking of playgroups, I'm the reason you play UFS because I have traded my soul to the devil to get 2 people to play this fucking card game.
You have successfully recruited us. Yes.
Why didn't you play before? What drew you to the game besides just like my pleading and begging?
Okay, so what first drew me to the game was the Mega Man release, and because I think maybe you, but I know I played a game with Miles.
Shout out to Miles.
Yonder back at Krypton Comics, where I think I was playing like a Ken deck and he was playing like a Terry deck or something.
I got that same
And he just stomped me.
Yeah.
Like literally just stomped me. I was like, I'll poke you with like this Hadouken. He's like, okay, block it, reversal, 12 damage. I'm like, what the heck just happened? Yeah. Play on your own turn.
Play on your own turn.
And that's my catchphrase, by the way. But so I had a little bit of experience, and then me and Jeff actually. Like my mentor Phil, he like used to play UFS like pretty heavy, and he had a K momentum control deck.
Okay.
He got us 2 structure or starter decks before Jasco had bought it.
Okay.
Probably when I was like 14.
All right.
And so like me and Jeff were playing, and so I had like dormant knowledge.
Sure.
And then Mega Man came out, and I was like, well, I like Mega Man.
Mega Man's cool.
Right? And like you got Cut Man and Tough Man and Flame Man, and you got all like a wide, like diverse cast of characters, right?
Yeah.
And like that's why I like playing like fighting games. For example, is like there's so many characters that I could beat your ass with.
Hell yeah.
So I wanted to get in then, but I was afraid that the community was like Y Schwartz.
Okay.
No offense to Y Schwartz players
Every offense possible.
by any means, but.
We just had a couple of the UFSQ kids go down to a White Shorts event, so obviously we're being facetious.
I didn't want the community to be like awkward or weird in a sense.
I mean, you play Yugioh, so.
So I do play Yugioh, and there are some weird weaves in like Yugioh, for example. But I was afraid of like the community and like jumping into the community.
Okay.
Especially because of how like small it seemed, and like I felt like I wouldn't really like win much. Like I felt like it was gonna take a while for me to get good at the game, right? So, to now, I got into it now because I was coming over, I was hanging out, I was watching you guys play, and you guys were having fun. And then eventually I said like, oh I want to play a game, I want in on the fun too.
Yeah.
And I just missed Gemini Man. I just missed him. I'm so mad. But yeah, so I initially wanted to get into this game because of Mega Man, and then just with like my dormant experience and my love for card games in general.
Jeff?
I would say the reason I stayed away, as opposed to like was kind of interested. The reason I stayed away, like Mega Man's cool and all. Mortal Kombat's pretty cool, but I'm not like a huge fighting game person, so I have no like super interest in any of these characters.
I've got a buddy who refuses to play because he doesn't care about any of the characters.
But I just got past that, like, because it's a card game, right? I like card games, and it's a well-built card game, so trusting my buddy Tim here to hook me up, and he has. So.
What's the best piece of advice that I've given when it comes to learning the game? What's the thing that stuck with you?
The order I built my foundations in, of most importance and my safety checks.
Could you explain that a little bit?
So like if I'm playing a foundation on a 3, that's my first foundation. Like if I'm playing a high seas adventure, it's a 3/4, no block. It's really good. You should invest in that if you're playing air, water, or all. Yeah, it's a 3/4, so I play that. I'm playing safety 3s, so I'll check a 3, and then I'll play a 2-cost foundation. So it's 2 + 1, so it's on a 3. I have to check a 3. So then in my hand, I'd have like a 2-cost foundation and a 1-cost foundation. For the longest time, I was on my first turn when my character was committed. I was man-moding, just going, well, I'd rather play these both on a 4 than this on a 3 and this on a 5 because I want to try and pass both. And if I check an attack, I'm going to lose one. But Tam taught me to, because I'm playing safety 3s, I should always build my guaranteed foundations and my most important foundations first, and then try and build extra.
Totally.
And so
You've always got next turn.
And because I am playing safety 3s, that's always in my mind, and when I'm playing zeros, holy cow, and evil is it's so easy to build. Evil is so satisfying on your build turns.
Oh, very,
I built
very.
7. I built 7 on Dylan on Sunday.
Yeah.
I went revoke, play, tap, play, check a character card. All right, I'll pass. But yeah, definitely the safety 3s and getting it through my mind that literally the worst case scenario, I'll check a 3.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that I am experienced enough to, for my number counting and running probabilities in my head for the ones and twos, and just because I'm sure James is some random number cruncher of okay, I got 50 cards in my deck and I got 5 2 checks. Okay, there's a 20 some odd chance I check this. I'll play this on a 5. Check a 5. What's up? or something like that.
I think you're giving James Stevens way too much fucking credit.
Yeah, it's not like I count all of my my block zones. It's not like I have every digit I know every time I play a tournament.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, definitely safety 3s and
Correct building.
Yeah, how to build.
What about you,
this
Jeff?
is how you should build.
Trying to think of. Have you given me advice? I'm sure you have.
No, if I haven't, then that.
I can't really think of anything. I mean, I know you said when I was playing Goro at the event, you said that. I mean, you said basically the same thing that Michael said. Is because I had two controls.
Mm-hmm.
So I shouldn't start with a 3 on my first turn.
Yeah.
Because you could hit a missile launcher, right?
Skipping your turn sucks.
Yeah. So that's probably the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna take a small break, reset the camera equipment, and then come back. All right, we're back from that commercial break. So we were talking about advice. And so, is there any advice that you could possibly give me as the coach of what do you need out of me in order to make you understand the game better or whatnot? Is there anything that I'm doing right or wrong?
I think you're a little harsh on Travis.
become harsh on Travis.
Sometimes.
Give me,
But
lay it all out.
he needs it. That's the thing, is that Travis needs a stern hand of, this is bad, this is good. Like,
Okay.
no offense to you, Travis, or anything.
We love you, Travis.
Like, for me, like, I don't know, like, I get, like, I'm, like, a pretty, like, independent person,
Yeah,
I'd like to think, and, so, like, when I first built, like, Air Torn, like, I didn't ask for any advice.
Yeah.
And, like, I just kind of, like, stuck to myself, and then I came out, like, with my, like, sweet list. Shout-outs to my sweet fog blanket list. You can check it out on the
Shout yourself
UFSU.
out. Holy
You can shout out, check
I like
it out.
There's a profile on YouTube. I
Yeah,
like it.
there's
YouTube.com/UFSU. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good shout out.
But yeah, so that's like the first real deck I built by myself.
That's great.
Because we built Dave Wagner's air list together, and
Thanks, Dave.
he took that and he was like, all right, we'll cut these 2 cards and we'll throw in Wandering Pirates. All right, here's your Worlds deck.
If it ain't broke,
Don't fix
Don't
it,
fix it.
right? Just make it better.
Yeah.
But I don't ask for like a lot of advice, and so like I've been like trying to like do that a little bit more of like, hey, like, what do you think of my foundation count and stuff like that. I think because I'm relatively independent, not like collection wise, but just like my personality and like how I like to. I don't know. It like sounds weird. I don't like people like touching my things, like in a sense, right? Like my deck's like my deck.
You worked on it. It's art.
Yeah, right.
Like-
yeah.
Oh, this is so lame. I really feel like this game is artistic. Like, as fucking lame as it is. Like, to an extent, Jasco builds our decks. To an extent. But it's not like...
Right, like
It's
here's
not like
character,
Konami
here's
does.
7 cards.
Yeah.
You can play these if you want.
You can, totally.
Or you can jump back to MK and just play a bunch of MK cards.
100%. Like, you can play Dejanette as an Evil Desperation character. And
I played against that on Tuesday.
yeah, you could totally do it. Or you could play it as a void discard character or an all draw character. And because she has 3 symbols, there's such a card pool inside of those symbols where like this symbol has all, and because it has earth and life, it does earth life thing. But because it has all and chaos and void, it does chaos and void things. That like I can take an all deck and have 59 independent cards, and then have an all deck and have 59 another independent cards. And just never play the same list under the same symbol.
So like that's something I like about this game. I think of each character as a tree, and just each different like deck variety is like, it's like roots.
Yeah, totally.
And like that's just how I picture like every character.
So like, when it comes to deck building, do you think that like having somebody help you build a deck? So like we sat down and we shopped Goro. We didn't like have a Dave Wagner list of Goro to give you because stuff
Shout
had
out
been
to
rotated.
Dave Wagner, thanks.
Do you think that like that helped you as a player better than me just giving you a deck? This is for the people who have play groups and like Yu Hockey Show's coming out. Give me a who's the main character of that show?
It's a Yusuke.
Give me a Yusuke deck. I have no idea. I'm a fucking dork.
I want to build a cool Bara deck.
Bang! I got a finger gun. Speaking of which, if we don't have bang ! 2 dot in this game, it's fucking up Casco. Or if he doesn't have bang symbols, so he has his own bang, and you also get to bang, 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 bang.
Now the card should just be called Finger Guns.
Hell yeah.
And it's like him like smiling. That's what I think.
Man, I got a fucking 100 episodes of anime I have to get there before that's set.
I'm telling you, you should ask Alex, hey, can you give me a TLDR on Yu Yu Hakusho? I think you should watch the first fighting tournament, then the Tournament of Power, and then there might be a couple episodes in between. But I'll tell you, I watched the Tournament of Power 1 and 2, and then I watched after I watched those and like got a real gist of the show, I watched a couple of random episodes. Oh god.
Yeah.
It was like Bleach all over again. Like I'm just like plowing through this cornfield, like just trying to get to the end.
Never seen Bleach either.
Don't. There's like 4 good seasons.
Do you say that's okay? Yeah.
Don't worry, they're getting another season this year.
Oh boy,
Fuck
what's
yeah.
season 12?
Jeff, back to the
We
original
started
question
before.
before we
Are you
started talking
sure?
about
Are
Yu
you
Yu
sure?
Hakusho. Sorry.
That's hard to answer because I'm all for like, I think when I played Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time.
Yeah.
Hey, this is the Yu-Gi-Oh podcast, by
Yeah.
the way. I played Yu-Gi-Oh
It's
for a
back.
long time, and I think early when I was playing,
Yeah.
I had like a bad experience of like building my own thing.
Totally.
It didn't work at all like I pictured it,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that like scarred me or not, but like I'm not the biggest like deck builder. I feel like I'm more of like a player. And I know those things like some people might think that's like hand in hand, but I think that they can be separate.
They are. I definitely would agree. Like I'm definitely a deck builder. Like in Yu-Gi-Oh, I would build like these super crazy decks where I'm like throwing like 3 or 4 archetypes together, and then like in this game, like I took 3 characters, threw them together, and like that's my deck right now.
Yeah. See, I think that it's just a big Venn diagram, right? And it depends on how much of the Venn diagram you want to focus on. So like there was a while that JJ. So after Bebop, we talked about the Bebop spike, right? The Bebop, sorry, not the spike, but Spike too.
But yes, Spike.
We talked about the Bebop power creep a little bit, and the fact that like there was that entire. As soon as that came out, he had a jet deck that just like got him banned at locals. Like you cannot play that deck at locals. That deck is too good. We are trying to get these cards banned. Like you're gonna take it to an event, you're gonna play it there. Don't play it at locals. You're gonna scare off new kids. Straight up. And there was a big outrage, and like, it was justified, but it wasn't justified because like they're legal in the game. Nut up or shut up, right?
Yeah.
But that's such a old, like hilariously old school martial art tendency. Oh, did you get knocked down? Stand up or get out. Like if you can't handle it, don't play. That's not
Can't take the heat.
get out the dojo. But like that's not a way that you get people to play your card game.
Yeah.
So like there's this for a while I didn't have to build decks. Well, Jake is no longer a part of UFSU. He's gone to Legendary Wolf, and he doesn't really play test here anymore. So I've had to start building my own decks, and I've got new people coming in. And I can't be like, hey, you fucking figure it out. So like I've had to really start flexing my deck building again. But
Flexing that brain.
I'm a pilot. You give me a pile of 60 cards, and I'll beat your ass with it.
Right. No. So like furthering that. So like I honestly I think I'm a pilot too.
Yeah.
But you know like after playing that Goro, like a couple days later, I went to UFS Ultra and fucking looked up some foundations that I thought could improve the deck.
Totally.
And you know some of them didn't work quite the way I thought they did. And others I still think might be a good idea for that deck. And
Yeah. That's kind of a thing with UFS is like every card's playable, but it really depends on the meta which it is playable. It reminds me a lot of like whenever Vanity's Emptiness came back. Welcome back to the Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. Like Vanity's Emptiness sucked. It was a $1 1-cent common.
Well, yeah, one like a 5-cent short print.
I wiped my ass with that card.
Yep.
Yeah, snorted cocaine off it. Like there's that card didn't do anything. And
6
then
cents later.
it did, and it's a $5 common.
No. It was a $25.
Yeah, it's like you just card was gangbusters for the same way that like there was a card inside of Guile support. What's the 1/5?
Pursuing Vendetta?
Pursuing Vendetta. That card had not been written on a deck list for probably at least a year after Street Fighter came out, and then they made Jeddah. And then everybody's like, oh shit, we gotta fucking play this card, huh? I'm not trying to get debuilt. If you debuild me one, I'm gonna build this thing in, or any sort of foundation destruction. No, like Ageless and Wise, that's mandatory in every deck now.
Yeah.
Like you have to play that card, and that card just like that card already existed. It was Pursuing Vendetta. Everybody plays like if you play in order, you play both of it because you can't get debuilt because the meta has changed, right? Or like there's a card called like Peaceful Messenger. Beautiful card. It was an Omni block. If you block this card, you take no damage. It was a 3 mid block. So 2/4 gave us speed or damage buff on board. The card sucks. You can't play that card anymore for the exact opposite reason. But like, there's gonna be a meta where a like Flash throw is gonna make a comeback, and people are gonna be like, I might have to play Peaceful Messenger again. Like, that's just how it is. And because we have so much happening all over the place that it can be really hard to make decisions deck building. We had a topic on this a couple weeks back of what's the best speed hate. How do you decide what the best speed hate in the deck? Under Earth, there's like 6 cards that all say either reduce speed or return to printed. how do you figure that out? And as a new player, you just don't. You look at the 100, 300 cards that you get on Ultra under your symbol. You're just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and yeah, looking at Ultra the very first time is like definitely overwhelming.
I think that would actually be really sick. Write this down, James. Navigating UFS Ultra. And like the interesting tricks, because like the way that I deck build on Ultra is I start with my character. I figure out what I'm gonna do, like who's beating your ass.
Who am I?
Because like that dictates the whole deck. And then I do action asset and / or attack. So it depends on like how am I killing you, and then what's the niche way that it's gonna happen, and then from foundations, I don't look at the foundation list. I go by difficulty. I click 0 and I look at all the 0 diff foundations. And the cards that I want to play, I put into 4-0s. The cards I don't want to play, I put into 1-0s. And it's like, this card is cool, it's 4-0. This card could be cool, it's a 1-0. And then I got a bunch of 4s and 1s in my deck, and I just go, oh, now my 1 diffs, 2 diffs, 3 diffs. And then I add it in that way, as opposed to standard all go. It definitely reduces the number of cards that I'm looking at, and it lets me compare difficulty of cards. Because there's a lot of issues that people have of like, this card does this, but it's a 2 diff versus a 1 diff. Like, which one should I have instead? I get to compare 2 diffs.
Okay.
So then you get to see the value of your two diff. You get to see the value. Like, I put out a whole page of 3 diffs. Well, I only get to play like 4 or 5 of you. So I get to now compare them, as opposed to see one, scroll 4 pages, and then see another one and be like, oh, that card's really sick too. When you put these 2 water cards together, if you put High Seas and High Seas Adventure and God of Thunder, and you get to pick one, sitting next to each other means that you actually have to pick. How do you feel about the keywords in our game?
I like stun. It's like definitely a double-edged sword. You know, like stunning your opponent feels really good. Getting stunned out does not.
Does not feel good.
But like I think stun's cool. I love throw.
Yeah.
I love throw because like the only way to stop throw in a fighting game is by protecting the throw.
Yeah.
I cannot stand reversal. I absolutely cannot stand reversal. I'd like for you to play on your own turn, as this is my turn.
It's so interesting because like I'm just positive. I said it before. Reversal has like not been a very good keyword for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like reversal, like you'll die from a bad reversal. Like if you reversal poorly, you added 2 cards in your card pool, you're dead.
Yeah.
You discard an extra card. Sick. You did 6 damage to me and didn't get any real value. I'll do 40 more damage to you. Sorry. Like reversal, I think, is one of those fine arts you have to learn in this game.
Yeah.
That's like really advanced shit.
I don't like desperation. I just don't like that mechanic. But I complained about it earlier on this podcast.
Yeah.
I like Gauge as a mechanic for this new set. I think it's really cool. And I personally like Flash, and I think that Flash needs to be in the game. I think that Flash should stay in the game.
Is there anything so far besides, I mean, maybe even reversal? Is there anything that you think a keyword that shouldn't exist? A keyword ability, excuse me. Gauge, powerful, EX, Flash, throw. Is there any that you were like, we should probably get rid of that?
If I could just get rid of one thing, it'd be desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Desperation on Copy Samba.
I agree.
There.
Get rid of that.
If I could get rid of one thing, it'd be desperation off Copy Samba. Yeah.
Maybe just get rid of Cox Samba. But Jeff, you've done significant less playing. Is there anything keyword wise that you can? What's the freaking breaker? Is there anything keyword wise that
The
you feel?
defensive one.
Nope.
No, there's just nothing. Is it because of like you don't know enough about the keywords, or do you think that like? Because I think they're like one of the most interesting parts of the game is like the fact that we have all this short text keywords, but like with that short text keyword comes complexity, right? Because when I say gauge 6, what does that mean?
Yeah. It doesn't explain itself. Like in Magic, it'll say like, oh, Shroud. This cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. But it doesn't say stun. Your opponent commits X foundations for your stun rate.
We had that. We reset the camera. We had that on the starter decks for Bebop, and it was so fucking cool. If you look at the bottom of Cormorant, it tells you what Breaker 2 does.
Oh, that's
It does,
actually
yeah.
that's actually in a lot of even Bebop stuff in general. Arranging a deal.
So that is from the Vicious and Spike starter decks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like
Okay,
it tells you what the keywords do. I think on every starter deck we should definitely do that for sure. Every keyword should be represented in the starter decks, whether it be one character or the other, and then just tell us what they do. I even think like honestly, Ryan, if you're listening, I think you could easily like put in one of those informational sheets on like how to play the game. You could easily throw in a keyword one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That could be like a box topper pamphlet.
Speaking of the house question,
I didn't do that. I wish James Stevens would replace the Linfield.
I was going to.
What are we talking about? We were talking about UFS.
We were talking about the keyword
Keywords.
box stopper.
Keyword box topper. I think that's a really good idea.
For sure. I think, and what I think is, like, each box could have, like, a piece of paper maybe with, like, what's new to the game.
Yeah, I dig that. Here's, I think, the final question, and I think it's going to be the hardest question. What would you tell a promoter? What would you tell me would be helpful to get a new player to understand / want to play the game? So, let's say we've got a couple friends, us. We don't have access to all those cards. How do we get somebody else to play the game? How do you convince somebody? I love Yu Yu Hakusho, and I'm willing to order product through somebody, but I don't have a play group. As a new player, how would you start a play group?
How to start a play group as a new player.
It
It's
feels
pretty
impossible.
rough.
It feels impossible.
It truly is rough. And honestly, I feel like Chris Nixon could answer this question the best because of Naruto. 'Cause
Okay.
I feel like he brought and like raised that Naruto community out of nothing in a sense.
So, I get that, but like Naruto is like a really big brand.
Right.
And at the time, Naruto's fucking massive.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking ran with their arms behind their back.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you mentioned Naruto card game.
Yeah, and then
Like people are
I'm
in
in.
there. Yeah.
Do you think it's just like having decks of like cool characters for people to play?
I think it would have to be like, I'd have to have like a Guile deck, a Ryu deck, a Ken deck, and then like go outside a little bit and like pick up like a couple of Darkstalker character decks or something like that, and not necessarily make them the best, but to make them to where they could all beat each other.
Right, 'cause you just need that hook, right? Like, so maybe your group of friends aren't as interested in Yu Yu Hakusho as you are, but I don't know, maybe they like Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat's pretty awesome.
Or
Yeah, so just these characters from all these games that you have access to, like maybe you need to just be like, oh yeah, there's a Mortal Kombat set.
What about learning the game itself? What do you think is required inside of a demo? Being so unbelievably new, what has mattered the most when it comes to like these first 3 times you play the game? Like what matters to you?
So this is outside of the topic. I still think that there should be an interactive demo on Jasco's website. I still think that honestly that would be the best way for new players to come and learn the game is by having the interactive demo that we talked about. Just like how Yu-Gi-Oh's done it, Magic's done it with the games that release on console and stuff like that.
You even have to do it through Hearthstone. The
Yeah.
first Hearthstone game you play is totally scripted.
Yeah.
You cannot lose that game. Maybe, I don't know. There might be an asterisk there.
But
You should not lose that game.
I think the first thing that I would teach somebody is the importance of foundations and having, if you have a 5 hand size, having at least 3 foundations in your opening hand, or vice versa. If you have 7 cards in your hand, having at least 4 foundations in your hand, and then just teaching them how to play cards.
Okay.
And then I think everything else comes after that.
I think the game's pretty straightforward. Like,
Really?
Yeah.
Like really?
Like, no,
For
seriously.
me, that's how I
like,
felt
see-
outside of
see,
keywords.
Cause outside. See, my thing. So your thing might be the keywords. My thing is it's always going to be the foundations. I still think that's like just the hardest thing to get down.
Oh, that's still hard for me. Like knowing what my opponent's foundations do.
Just playing cards is super easy, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, you describe. Okay, you play this card. This is the difficulty. You flip this card. This is the and this is how you play that card, and that's super straightforward in my opinion.
So like the way that I'm gonna start demoing stuff is whenever we play, we're just not even gonna worry with the foundations. Because like the real bread and butter of this game is how much it is like chess, where it's my enhances versus your enhances, my card text versus your card text, and because of the poker-esque back and forth of pass enhance, it is. I think your foundations should be there just to play attacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I'm excited for this GOAT format because the foundations aren't actually gonna do anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect.
The attacks are just gonna be like,
and
I play
then-
an attack, ability here, stun 2. Go ahead.
And then once you have your play group going, you can like delve deeper. Like,
Yeah. Do you think? And this I don't want this to sound too pandering. Do you think that like people should reach out to like online sources? Should that be a thing? Like obviously you're watching the podcast if you're like super new, but like, do you think that Facebook and Discord? Do you think that actually would that help the community or would it hurt it?
Actually, now that you say that, hey, shout out to Josh, the Taki player that I played at LWG last week. He said he watches the content. Yeah,
Thanks, Josh.
he recognized me.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you're on that UFSU podcast thing, right? And I was like, yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah, like shout outs to me. Heck yeah, again.
can you?
Sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, can you explain a little more? Like,
Sure.
what-
So what I'm super afraid of is I'm afraid that there's going to be I'm in Vermont, and there are no Vermont UFS players, and so what I do is I find my play group on Discord, as opposed to going and trying to create a play group, right? I actually think that's like a double-edged sword, where like I'll only play on Tabletop Simulator, I'll only play at PTCs or majors, and I don't try and push for whatever, and so like I think that online can be like a resource, right? And
Mhm.
maybe this is like a little pandering because I'm just answering my own question, but I'm afraid. Do you feel like as a new player that if you exclusively had online as the access that you wouldn't need a play group? Do you think that's
No, I
think you definitely need a play group.
see. Okay, so it's actually a really weird question because like, so you are meeting all these people online,
Yeah.
right? And you are playing games with them.
yeah?
So that is your play group, right?
Okay.
It might not be your physical like, hey, you want to come over to my house? Let's play games.
Sure.
Right. No, it's like, hey, you want to meet up in this lobby and play games, right?
But then
So you still have a play group, and you are still like expressing like creativity
Mhm.
throughout each other. Of like, I think you should play this card. I think you should take this card out, etc. And like, whether that's like in the form of online or IRL, yeah.
in real life.
I still think you get the same. I'll tell you what though, for sure, I definitely do enjoy having like a real life like play group here, because I never would have sat down and went through those cards and like looked at every single air character. Like I would have done that on like I would have done that on Ultra, right? But I probably wouldn't have like paid attention to half
Yeah,
the
you would
cards.
have got like over.
But because I had like sorted by character these physical cards in my hand, like I'm looking through Taki and I'm like, well, this card's cool, this card's cool. I get to Cowboy Bebop and I get to Spike. This card's cool, this card's cool. Well, these combo with those, and my deck sort of does this. So like like that's how I threw my deck together. Was
Yeah.
like looking through the boxes of cards and like looking at all the air stuff.
Well, then at that point, like it's just about having physical product as opposed to a play group.
Right, but if you have physical product, then you can have like a physical play group.
Do you think it's on being privileged as a UFSU player because I don't own any cards?
I feel very privileged. Thank you very much, James.
Yeah, thank you, James.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
James.
And then Tyler, he's not in here, but thank you very much, Tyler. I know you're watching. We love you.
I sometimes feel like the fact that I have access to quote unquote everything, like we're missing some of the most recent stuff, right? But like we have access to quote unquote everything. Sometimes hurts us. Is it the responsibility of like somebody trying to start a playgroup to like overbuy, to like give out that first taste? Because I'm positive I would not be playing this game if Tyler Clark did not give me a Dr. Wily 1-dot starter deck. I would not play the game. I would not have invested if he didn't be like, here are 60 cards that I don't need. There you go.
So I think if I was starting a playgroup and like I was, whether it be desperate or not, and I was trying to find people, I would initially spend the money to get them into the game. Like, if I was trying to get somebody into the game right now, I'd build them Warcrafter. I think that's probably the cheapest, most budgety A-tier deck right now.
Sure.
That's my opinion.
You don't need fatalities.
I'm heavy on air. And it also says that you don't have to pay attention
half their shit
to half of your opponent's cards on your turn. I think it's a great way to teach your opponent, like to teach them, because like on your turn, you're playing these flash attacks that say like, hey, no enhances, and then on their turn, well, I do get enhances. So you're learning two different aspects of the game at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is why I think like I developed a little faster in this game than I thought I would, because I was learning two different decks at the same time. I'm learning like how to play a regular deck, and then I'm learning how to play a flash deck.
Yeah.
But I would personally shell out initially to like, you want to play a Mega Man deck? All right, well, I have these Mega Man cards, and I can buy a couple online to like help you out. And if you want to improve this deck, here's this website. If you like this game, then it also has links to online stores, and you can like try and buy a product that way. Or if you're fine with how your deck runs, then like we can just play games, and like I might have a couple spare cards that you want to try this instead or something like that. So personally I would fund the startup, and then say if you want to go anywhere else, it's a we. It's not a me. It's we. We are going somewhere, not just me.
I go with that.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
Actually, as he was talking about that, I remembered that I almost did the same exact thing in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I was basically funding like one full-time player, plus me, plus maybe a couple like part-time players. Yeah.
Me?
This
is awesome to those people.
And it's really useful. Like, I totally understand what Michael's saying. Like, you need to, like know that there's that interest, and then if they like the game, they can start to build their own collection. Alternatively, if you have the ability, and it helps with if they're good, and I mean you'll get there. If they get you rewards, I mean you can fund it with the rewards, and so I mean that's what I was kind of doing is I would get the cards and they pay for more cards. So yeah.
What do you mean?
Like.
So you like win a tournament, get prize support, pull like this expensive card, sell it, get the cards you need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's...
I think it's a little harder for UFS.
I think so too, just because of like...
I can't go to Walmart and buy packs.
Correct. You cannot go to Walmart and buy packs. We're working on it. It's being worked on. Trying to get in shelves. I'm pretty sure that's one of the big goals for the year. It's by the end of the year they wanted in a store. That would help so fucking much. Anyways.
Sure would.
It would definitely would draw interest.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yu Hakusho, where did it? Here it is. That's not confirmed. I have no idea. I talk to Ryan sometimes. He doesn't tell me that. No, I think having a there's this double-edged sword of like having shared cards, right? Of like in UFS, because we have so many symbols and we don't have quote unquote staples of those symbols. Like if I wanted to, when we were trying to do the Yugioh podcast, I actually wanted to like talk to everybody and go like, hey, how would you guys feel about like combining everybody's cards? How would you feel about like we are Team Yugioh University. We are Team UFS University. You don't own cards. You don't own cards. And at this point, I don't own cards. I took all of my cards and I gave them to UFSU, not James, not Tyler, UFSU, and said, take these cards, fill out the play sets, whatever we don't have, put them, sell them online, grab that money, have UFSU pay for all these cards. So I don't own cards, and everything we get extra goes online to buy more stuff. There's a double-edged sword when it comes to that because of you're not invested in the game. Because you don't have you could leave right now and have not spent any real money on the game. UFSU has all these cards, that's sweet, but like we're down a player, right? But if you personally have spent $300, $400, $500 on your own collection, then you're going to feel more inclined to continue to play the game.
You are more invested, yes.
Yeah. So at that point, do you think like splitting off and in order to get players to play the game, continue to play the game, do you think like a communal pot like what we have is better than personalized collections?
If I was starting,
careful with your fucking answers, boys.
if I was starting a community and I gave my friend a deck and I shelled out a little bit of money for it and like he wanted to play cards I wasn't using, like yeah, like go ahead, like they're all yours.
Yeah.
I think to talk about what you said just a little bit before that of like as like Yu-Gi-Oh joining collections, I think it's a lot harder because any deck can play any card.
Totally.
So yeah, you might think you need 3 or 4 play sets, but well, hey, now you might need like 8 play sets,
Yeah.
right? And
Depending on how
like
big
realistically, do you need 8 play sets for a UFS card? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Right, because like not everybody's like hopping up on like the evil bandwagon.
There's a small asterisk there because like
Right.
sometimes because it's diversity by character, not by card. So like I can play Death Jetta and you can be playing Death Grow and our builds could be like 8 cards different. Well,
Yeah.
if that means that if you're also playing any water cards, well, any shared card that shares water and death, that means it's being accounted for.
Yeah.
Like we were having that issues with like balance fighters and design for combats. Like they were all gone. We had 16 of that card and 4 people got to play it and that was it.
Yeah. No, yeah, and like it is rougher there. I think you guys have like a pretty well. Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, just a hiccup. I think you guys have a pretty well organized system.
Well, it's about to be after this podcast.
Well, in the sense of, give me the list of cards you're borrowing. Okay, I know you're using these cards. And then, also for like bigger tournaments. Hey, you're not going to this bigger tournament. Can I use these cards?
Yeah.
Right, that's really nice. But I also, to talk about the sharing collections, I think, because I come from Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's the type of person I am, so I feel like I can express myself.
Please.
I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are really greedy, and that's part of the reason why I think the game is so toxic, in a sense.
But with that, conversely, with greed comes value, right?
Right.
So like our cards are only worth what somebody's willing to pay for them. If we have this big hype beast of this card this game is really rad because it can make you money. The Yu-Gi-Oh is really sick because if you pull well, you'll 10 times your investment.
Yeah.
Like that. Like I don't think Sam Shanner would be playing the game. Shoutouts.
If it wasn't for
Skylar's.
Oh, okay.
If it wasn't for like money reasons, like he wouldn't have jumped into the game as much as he did.
Yeah.
Same reason like Ethan Schwartz, he wouldn't be playing Yu-Gi-Oh if it wasn't turning him a profit. So like, is it possible that like being stingy, being greedy, and being like, nah, dog, Nutcrackers are actually it's $100 card.
No, so I'm not saying necessarily it's a bad thing, but I feel like
And you flash dollar signs and it's gonna be people go, well, if I can turn that $100 card around for $150, maybe I should play the game and like learn prices and shit, right?
because you guys already have a system in place, so that's probably why. It's because I'm like so like biased or blind to the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But like, the Yu-Gi-Oh player will sell a card for like $150, right?
Yeah.
And they'll think, how can I benefit from this? you know, like there are teams in a sense of like Yu-Gi-Oh where they do share cards.
Yeah.
But like here, it's like, hey, we have an extra one of this card. It's $150. We can sell it and like buy cards that everybody can use.
Totally, 100%.
But like, again, I do just think it's harder for Yu-Gi-Oh just because anybody can play any card.
Mm-hmm.
And in this game, it's
Symbol locked.
more organized.
Okay.
In a sense.
Anything to add, Jeff?
Yeah, plenty.
Ooh.
Sorry, I was kind of.
So
No, don't be sorry.
you said the difference like between like so if you have your own collection, you're invested.
Yeah.
I still feel with this like communal thing that I'm invested, because I'm not like, you're not paying for my tournament entries.
True.
I don't expect that either. Like that's fine. I want to play the game. You're nice enough to let me use these cards.
Mhm.
So like, and then so I should just help you guys further it, in my opinion.
It's not me, it's UFSU.
Right. So,
It's not James, it's
I'm
UFSU.
I'm just pointing
For
to
No, you're right.
For everyone at home.
So that's like one of the things that I'm super
That
afraid
was-
of.
that was James'
is
point.
that I'm afraid. Are you leaving? Are you leaving? Okay. Come say bye before you leave. I love you. One of the things that like I'm super afraid of as like a person is that my name is technically on the business license for UFSU, but man, we're such a small commodity. Like we're really nothing. We had to get a business license to get jerseys. That was it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And we're not quote unquote turning a profit at all. Like it's not a Tam's trying to make money thing. It's a how many people from Omaha can I get to play this game? And I don't want to make you know that. I just want to make sure my two newest players know that. That like I'm not trying to make a buck off anybody. Like genuinely, it's not Tam's cards. Never Tam cards.
Like I've gotten probably like, I don't know, 15 packs, and I've pulled like 5 to 6 ultra rares. I just give them away. Like I don't care. Like this one, like this singular ultra rare, it's not gonna turn me a profit. It's not gonna break my deck. It's not gonna like get me like some crazy card I'm trying to trade for,
Yeah.
right? As for like Yu-Gi-Oh, you know, if we were
Yeah,
sharing
card
cards,
games like Dragon Ball Super or Magic.
right? I'm just more familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
But like, so if I pull like this $100 secret rare, I'd be more inclined to want to like sell that and keep it for myself.
Yeah.
But because of the community you have in place, I could literally care less about my price support. I'm totally fine with like whatever I get, like giving it to the community of UFSU. There is one card I do own now officially. I do officially own one card for myself, and it's nobody's. Especially you, James. It's not yours, and that is shoutouts to Zach Moore. He gave me a Chibi 1.torn, and that's like really really cool. And
I like I interrupted you. We're gonna get back.
yeah, sorry. So like that's one card I would like to claim as my own,
Cheers, we can have it.
theoretically in a sense, but like I pulled like a violet, like could care less about a violet. Pulled like a soul ball, I could care less about a soul ball.
No,
Like,
nobody cares about soul ball.
yeah,
You
right.
could've ripped it up.
And like all the promos I've gotten, like I had the 4 stolen swords from Worlds, and like Tyler used them, right?
Yeah.
Like I could care less, right? Like
Totally.
yeah.
Back to you. I'm so sorry. Investment in a play group. That's where we're at.
Well, I was just gonna say, you said that like, whatever, Nutcracker's like $100. You could sell it and get cards. Like, I mean, the only thing I wanted to say, just real quick on that, was like those cards. I mean, any Earth deck, right, Earth.
Yes.
Any Earth deck is gonna be playing a card. Like it's that valuable for a reason.
Yeah.
So that's just like
asterisks, but yeah.
quick little tidbit I wanted to throw in there.
So, I guess last thing when it comes to playgroups, because we are reaching about an hour and a half, do you think that this communal type playgroup is better overall? Or do you think eventually it'll collapse on itself? Because right now at UFSU, inside the dorms, we have to supply cards for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players full time. Nope, 7 players full time, and then a couple ancillary players. Like anytime, like Byron will come over and be like, "Hey, I need half an Akuma deck." Yeah, man, serious. Hey, man, I'm playing Vicious and I'm trying to change up my symbol, and I'm Dylan Bauman, former world champion. Yeah, man, take any other cards you need. Like, just let me know what you got. Do you think eventually, like, we get 15 people on this team, we can't support that?
I think
It depends on their like mindset. So like for example, me and Michael are just any rewards we're getting are just to the team. Like if they're keeping it, then there's no way to build the collection out more.
Yeah.
because at that point they're building their own collection.
Right.
Yeah.
And if there's, not to like sound rude about it or anything, but like if you are like so entitled in a sense, for lack of a better word that I can think of at the moment.
Sure.
If you're so entitled to build your own collection, then maybe you should consider, hey, I need this card, and I know someone on the team is playing it, like, I already have some of my own collection built, like, I could just get this card, add it to my collection.
Yeah, and those players do, like, we were a little late due to financial issues personally to getting 7th Cross. And so Byron's like, I want these 7th Cross commons, so he just jumped over Legendary Wolf and just purchased them. They're not ours, they're his.
Yeah.
Yeah, Byron could have waited a week and a half and would have had every common, he wouldn't have been it. But because of how his engagement with UFSU works, we kind of fit the bill when it comes to like bigger tournaments. Like right now, I think he's borrowing 2 or 3 copies of it. Gives him back. Cool, whatever. Let's get it back. If we're traveling to an event, get it back.
Yeah.
But do you think like having do you think it's better to have individual play groups or individual collections, or do you think like a for a new community?
For a new community, I think it's for a newer community. I think what honestly probably would work best is one person has a collection to themselves, in a sense, and then they, hey, like, if you know, this deck might not be the best that I have, but you know, like it's a deck, like it's all yours, and you know, if you want to build your own collection, like cool. If you want to share cards with each other, you know, like that's also cool. I think you should give the option,
Okay.
in a sense, because they're going to be very limited
Yeah,
at,
totally.
at the start.
Especially because like, I mean, one of the UFS's biggest problems is getting people into getting stores to even supply it, because it's in a small card game. Like we're not on Target shelves, we're not tried and true. Like our majors are fucking 200 people. That's it. So, like, even getting a store to buy product. There's a really sick comment by our former world champion, Timmy Two Belts, that he put a comment on like, here's the issue with getting players in the game. It's like this comment this long on YouTube.
Oh.
It's like read all of his shit. It's super good on YouTube. He should be on this podcast, not me. But yeah, it's like getting stores to carry it, followed by players. It's so tough, man.
Yeah. It's definitely an issue, especially not having it like open so widely. So I think that's why, in the start, I think everybody should share. Like if I have, you know, like 5 decks and I have 3 buddies that are interested in playing, like, hey, we can, you know, share these, or you know, like I can give you this, and then if you want to make changes to it, you know, you'll have to make changes on your own.
Yeah, okay.
Or, you know, like, yeah, you can borrow a couple cards from me, or, you know, you can just have a couple of cards that I'm not using, stuff like that. And then, it's like a gray area, like when you get like expensive cards.
Mm-hmm.
So like I just don't want to talk about that, just because like people's like greedy side come out sometimes.
Totally.
Justin Gardner.
Oh.
Anyways, but no, I think if I were to build a community, I would want to get 5 to 6 notable characters, make decks for them, and then say like, hey Garrison, you like Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat? Well, here, you know what? Here's a Sub-Zero deck. It's all yours. If you want to swap out a couple of cards, cool. If you want to buy a couple of cards for yourself, that's also cool. You know, I'm just glad that you're playing this game with me, and I'm glad that you're interested in this game.
Jeff, how you feel?
Is there like a way we can like kickstart their collection? So like
As
so,
UFSU.
So not
Absolutely.
No, not
Go out to
as-
tcgplayer.com and we have our own UFS.
That's the most
No,
selfish
that's not
plug.
exactly where I was
That's
going.
the most selfish plug I've ever heard
I'm glad
on
we got that
this
in there.
channel.
And we do a lot of stuff.
I mean, I did one earlier for my own deck profile.
Woo! Sorry.
That's super not where I was going.
Oh, sorry. My bad, my bad.
So you mentioned starter decks. That's pretty much a staple in any card game.
Yeah.
But hey, to reference Yugioh, I haven't done that before. There's structure decks that are playable, that were tier 1.
Yeah.
Just buy 3 of them.
I mean, I know we have no say in that matter, but like, I think that'd be very helpful if there were a way to like, what I think Magic has like pro decks or something like that.
Oh yeah, the like $40 decks that
Yeah.
like, we would buy and make changes to.
Yeah,
Sure,
they
yeah.
came with like a. I think
It's,
the ones we got were like Goblin Guide. It's like insane.
So you guys got that, and I got the Infect one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a $35-$40 version, where they reprint. I mean, and that's the beauty of having like a multi-million-dollar business and like being so popular all over the world.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they reprint a couple of like the expensive cards in the deck, and then they also make it like an easier, dumbed down version, like price wise and like the like interactions in your deck.
So that's like the tough part about it is how many Soul Calibur cards are you playing in that deck, in your deck currently? Give me a rough number. Keep the podcast moving.
8 to 12?
Sure. And how many Mega Man cards are you playing?
None.
How many Mortal Kombat cards are you playing?
None.
How many Bebop cards are you playing?
I'm playing like 8.
Okay, so that means I
Bebop
now have
cards.
to put Soul Calibur and Bebop on the packaging, because those are two separate licenses that Jasper paid money for. As opposed to Magic the Gathering. These are
Yeah.
all Magic cards. These are all Pokemon. These are all because of us being allowed to mix and match our decks, because of how that game mechanic works. I don't think we can make a product like that just because we're going to plaster on it's got Bebop and Soul Calibur, Mortal Kombat, and 7th Cross. What's that? And it's like,
Well, see, so that's where I think the game would and can lack starter decks,
yeah,
but I still think you could get away with structure decks, right? Because you guys had the Felicia,
yeah. We had the turbo decks for sure.
right?
Like, and those are like the best thing that we've got. There are 2-player decks where you get a Spike and a Vicious. They're both 40 cards plus 2 ultra rares, one from each, and then you got Ryu, Chun-Li, and then Scorpion Sub-Zero.
And I think, I know Travis had talked about it, and I know we have talked about it here. I do think that turbo structure decks would probably be the best way to go.
Yeah.
Because it's the easiest way to spit out just this character's cards.
Yep.
Just this character. Nothing else. If you want to get some Soul Calibur cards, go
Buy
ahead and
box.
go to TCG.
TCGplayer.com
TCGplayer.com/TCG
not
University.
UFS University or whatever.
um,
Some big long code. You can find it in the description.
But no, I do think that the best way to do starter/structure decks is, unfortunately, turbo decks.
Yeah.
I just think that
I wish we could make like champ decks.
they should
Like-
be labeled differently.
I would love to have Ashley Fullerton.
Yep.
Yeah, I was full. I was. Yeah. Fullerton's champ deck could easily be just hollow that bitch out, just send it out. That'd be sick. That'd be so cool. Could you imagine that as like a end of year premiere store event like type credit of like, hey, we've hollowed her whole deck and we're gonna give it first place as a premiere store event.
Hey, I don't play Pokemon trading card game, but I'm like super into the Worlds decks that they put out.
Yeah.
You can't play them. Unfortunately, for this example, you can't play those cards in a tournament.
Yeah.
Like they're not legal.
Yeah.
But they're like a great way to learn like what those cards do.
Yeah.
And, like
And
Why they're
to
playing
play
them.
Yeah. Last question, and we're actually gonna wrap this up. Was this podcast helpful as a new player, did I answer? Was this what you wanted? Yes, no. You can honestly be rough with me. Don't put on the kitty gloves. Hurt me. Dad.
I definitely think it helped. Like, I think I'm going to be learning stuff for a while.
We all are.
Even the best players are still learning now.
For sure. No, but like even simple stuff. But
Except for
but
James.
other than like, I still think it definitely helped. Like, yeah, for sure.
Be honest. Tell me I suck.
I don't think that I was here to, in my opinion, what my role on the podcast today is to take my current experiences and then give them to the new wave of players.
The good people.
And to tell them how fortunate I am, and to share maybe a couple of my woes, and like why I like this game, and like what drew me to this game. I don't think that my purpose was to exactly get learnt, so to speak. I believe it was to give knowledge. I think that was my role in the podcast today.
All right.
Yeah.
So with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Study Hall here on UFSU University. I hope this was informative. If you liked this type of podcast and would want us to do this as opposed to the breakout topics more often, we can certainly give it a shot, but we won't know unless you let us know down in the description down below. We don't mind changing and adapting, but if it's not spoken, we won't know. So with that, from all of us here at UFSU, stay learned,
Get learnt.
been learned. Say goodbye, Jeff.
Bye.